Hello and welcome to About Last Night. My name's EJ Marino and this is the show where I talk about the movie I saw last night. But I actually didn't see this movie last night. I had a pretty early morning screening of the new Star Wars film. Yes, let's dive into my review of The Last Jedi. Let's start with a very bold statement. This is my favorite Star Wars movie I have ever seen. I'm gonna put an asterisk next to that though. I am not the biggest Star Wars fan. I'm a very casual viewer, like extremely casual viewer. I only enjoy these movies because I know what they do for pop culture. They've impacted the film industry. You kind of just have to at least respect Star Wars. That's kind of my feelings. So with that aside, I love The Last Jedi. This is everything I could hope for this franchise, and I have one person to thank for that. It's Rian Johnson, the director of this. I'm gonna make another bold statement. Rian Johnson is the best director to sit in this franchise's director's chair. Wow, Rian Johnson he seems to have elevated this movie beyond just a Star Wars film. This is a good film. This is a good movie that I think can stand this test of time as much as The Empire Strikes Back has. We all look at the Star Wars franchise as, okay, A New Hope's great, Return of the Jedi's great, you have Empire Strikes Back, and then you have the prequels and Rogue One. But Empire Strikes Back is like the pinnacle of this franchise. This is, in all intents and purposes, the new Empire Strikes Back. And I'm saying, yeah, they dive into some things you've seen in Empire, but I'm talking the tone. I'm talking what this movie's gonna do. This is the new Empire. The Last Jedi is, I am so impressed with this movie. When I say Rian Johnson is the best director to ever step foot into the Star Wars franchise, I mean that as no disrespect to George Lucas, the man who created this beautiful universe, or J.J. Abrams, the man who reinvented this for the new generation. I'm just saying, for me, Rian Johnson is the best technical director. Abrams has a great way of producing just amazing films. He has a great look and aesthetic and feeling to him, so he has the good style. Lucas has the substance. He built this world meticulously, almost to a fault, which you've seen in the prequels when he takes over fully. You can definitely see that it's a little too meticulously done. But they're both, that's the substance. Rian Johnson has style and substance. He mixes it so well. Within the first 10 minutes of this movie, I knew this was going to be amazing. There was drama, comedy, suspense, chills, thrills. The visuals were on point. The acting was on point. The sound design, the sets, oh my god, everything was there.
Show me my place in all this.
On the filmmaking side, the editing of The Last Jedi is some of my favorite in this series. It's so crazy how far removed we are from those wipes that we had in A New Hope to what we have now. Not saying I think the style distracts in The Last Jedi, because I really like how everything looks and it doesn't really bother me, but it's just such a great and noticeable difference when you look at those older 70s films or you look at the prequels in the 2000s. This movie just feels so different and so fresh and so new, and I really think that's Rian Johnson's flair and what he did with the crew, because he directs his crew so amazing. And I mean everyone from, like I said, the editing to the visuals. The cinematography in this film is stunning. I love what they do, something called match cuts, which is basically cutting from one scene to another, but the subject in that scene kind of reflects what you see in the next scene, and it's really interesting, and it works really well here with that flip-flopping story. So I really liked seeing that. So like I said, the visuals are great with the cinematography, and it's not just the stylistic camera tricks, it's how great things look on film. Like the explosions, there is an explosion in this movie that left my screening speechless. If you've seen the film, or if you want a little hint at what it is, it involves light speed and some crazy visuals. Amazing. One of the best scenes in the entire film, and I think honestly maybe my favorite singular moment. You cannot talk about a Star Wars movie without bringing up the cast. I'm going to save a lot of this conversation for the spoiler review because I don't want to accidentally give anything away, because there's a lot in this movie, but I will say The Last Jedi handles its ensemble cast very well. They have a lot of players in this game and they handle them really, really well. No one really feels like dead weight. Everyone plays a part. Even characters I don't really like Finn, he has a good point in the story, and actually he kind of wins me over. Okay, speaking of Finn, he falls into a problem I have with an ensemble cast. And like I said, there's no dead weight, but there is stories when you have to deal with all these characters that you don't really love as much, and Finn and Rose kind of have my least favorite story, and I feel like honestly, every time they cut to them, I was like, okay, let's go back to something that has a little bit more heart or a little bit more emotion. Not saying that they don't have heart or emotion, but not the kind of that I wanted to see in this movie. This is really a Skywalker story, and every time they weren't Skywalker or like around, you're just kind of like, okay, this is going really well. Oh, okay, we'll go to this casino planet. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the problem with an ensemble cast. As much as I like everything that happens, there's things that I like a little bit more and things I can deal without. So I will say that's my only complaint is kind of just the Finn story. If there's any reason to care about the Finn and Rose story, it's because BB-8's with them. So I'm just gonna let you know that. I love BB-8, I am on board with him, the marketing team has won, I get it, I love him, and I will say, I think he does just as much as for this cause and for this like story as Rey does. Like, I'm gonna say maybe he is the last Jedi. BB-8, there it goes, BB-8 is the last Jedi. Speaking of Rey, she does really well in this film. I love seeing Daisy Ridley grow as an actress, and I like seeing Rey grow as a character. Is she still my favorite? Am I connecting with her? No, and I guess I can't really complain, because I really didn't connect with Luke or Anakin in their, like, as them being the main characters of their films. So I can get it, it's fine, whatever. I don't have to connect with Rey, because there's a lot of other characters you can connect with and fall in love with. But I will say, Daisy Ridley does really great with Rey. There's some really fun scenes. Her scenes with Luke are hilarious, they're dramatic, there's tension, there's some great drama. There's a lot to dive into with her and Luke. Like I said, I'll talk about it a little bit more in the spoiler review. In a lot of ways, The Last Jedi is Carrie Fisher's movie. That is no disrespect to the main story or the cast or crew, but this feels like a love letter to her. Hell, General Leia gets things done in this movie. I am so happy. Like, even when she's not on screen, you feel General Leia's impact on this. Hell, Laura Dern's only in this movie because of Leia. I just love everything she provided for this movie, and I love what Rian Johnson did. He was not lying when he said he was going to take Leia's character in a whole different direction. He does some great things. Just know you're just gonna be heartbroken knowing this is her last movie, but you're also gonna love knowing this is her best performance to date as this character. The last character I'm going to talk about in my spoiler-free review is Kylo Ren. Kylo remains my favorite character in the new Star Wars franchise. Hell, he actually might be my favorite character throughout the whole Star Wars franchise. I love Kylo. I think he's a troubled, layered, and honestly, his character is really fun to watch. Adam Driver is like 2-0 this year for great performances. He did great in Logan Lucky, and he owns it as Kylo in The Last Jedi. I just love what he does in this, but like, there's been a lot of talk of what his character's gonna do. Is he gonna get a redemption arc? Why did he kill his dad? Will he kill his mother? There is just so much with his character in this movie going in that I was like, okay, cool, I have a lot of hype going in. But not even just going in, like all that hype, there is hype now leaving the movie with Kylo. I can't wait to see what his character goes. I'm going to stop talking now because there's a lot I want to dive into in my spoiler review, but I will say Kylo's going to walk away with even more fans than before.
It's time for the Jedi to end.
To wrap all of this up, I'm gonna go on record now and say The Last Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. No, that's not like fanboy, like rose-colored glasses. No, like I admitted, I'm not a big fan of this franchise. So for The Last Jedi to get me this hyped and this excited about a franchise I don't really love, that shows how great this movie is. Like I said in the beginning, this is the new Empire Strikes Back. Not just because this dives into themes that Empire did, this will change the franchise and change the film industry, like big blockbusters, for a long time to come. So congratulations to Rian Johnson. Thank you to the cast and crew. Thank you to him for creating the Star Wars movie I have been waiting for my entire life. I cannot dive into anything else without getting into spoilers, so please tune in to my spoiler review later on the week. If you did happen to enjoy this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Please give me a comment down below. We're gonna keep it spoiler free in the comments section, so please dive into this, ask me anything you want. I will answer it if it's not spoiler related. If it is, wait to the spoiler review. Thank you so much again, and thank you for tuning in to About Last Night.